Good evening, you're watching Estuary News. Coming up, we go to Louth to find out about the latest craze of goalball. We head to the Grimsby depot of Operation Christmas Child to find out where the boxes are going this year. And we have a look at what you think about parking outside schools. And of course, we'll be going to Scunthorpe for the opening of the refurbished 2021 Arts Centre. Welcome to Estuary News, I'm Hugh Riches. It was invented as a sport for disabled veterans after World War II, and it's gained popularity in Britain following the 2012 Paralympics. Now the Goalball Club in Louth is looking for new members, both sighted and partially sighted, to join them and enhance a sport that can change people's lives, as Dave Nunn went to find out.
It's a sport that made an appearance at the London 2012 Paralympic Games and is currently on a drive for new players. But what exactly is goalball?
Goalball is a Paralympic sport for visually impaired people. It was invented for World War II veterans in Germany, and it was developed as a sport, an exclusive sport, and basically was adapted for visually impaired people. But the best thing about goalball is anybody can play goalball.
Goalball is a unique sport that can be played by both blind or partially sighted people against people who are perfectly sighted and wearing blindfolds. These two teams compete to score the most goals using a ball that has bells and chimes inside it, so players have to rely on sound. Philip used to play for the British national side and says that while the game looks simple, it is fairly hard to play.
So in goalball, everybody has blindfolds. So if you're sighted or visually impaired, you're all on the same playing level field, and it's all fun for everybody, especially sighted people, because it's losing their sight, so they've got to use their hearing the most important. When I first started goalball, it was very difficult. When I got more experience, I enjoyed it more, but when I first started, it was very hard, but fun.
Jake is a goalball player who gets involved in the training at Louth. He was diagnosed with a brain tumour when he was 12, and the resulting operation led to him losing his sight. He says playing goalball has changed his life, allowing him to stay fit after he lost his sight and continue his love of sports.
I find it was my way back into fitness, because before I was blind, I used to be a very sporty lad, and when I went blind, it was quite incredible that I could actually play a sport. And I've met so many great people playing goalball. It's like a family. It's really good. I love it.
Jake's story is echoed by Philip, who says playing goalball at a professional level has changed his life as well.
You know, goalball's changed my life from the start, from 6 years ago, and it's the best thing I've ever done in my life. Changed my life, and now I'm a coach. I'm determined to help other people to let goalball change their lives as well.
Philip's message to blind or partially sighted people or their parents is to come and try out something new that could change your life.
Goalball gives your child confidence and fitness and friendship and a family. We're a big goalball family. Wherever club you're from or wherever part of the country or in the world, we're all one big family.
Every year, Operation Christmas Child sends shoeboxes full of presents to thousands of vulnerable children across the world, with over 21,000 being sent last year from Grimsby alone. With the appeal beginning last week, we sent Dave Nunn to the Grimsby depot to find out if the 21,000 record can be broken this year.
The holiday season is associated with traditions for lots of people, and one tradition many people take part in is making a shoebox for Operation Christmas Child, which officially launched its Grimsby campaign last week.
For everyone that's involved in the shoeboxes, it's an amazing campaign that we reach out to as many children as possible in those places in the world that are very needy, for those children that are very needy.
Last year's appeal saw nearly 21,500 boxes being donated by the public, and this year it's hoped that the public's generosity will stretch further.
Well, last year we gave out 21,458 shoeboxes, which was a phenomenal amount, and that was all due to thank you for the public that helped with that. So this year we're hoping to conquer that or to actually do more, and it really does depend on everybody that can contribute, whether they just come and work for half an hour in the volunteer room or whether they would like to just donate things, just anything. It's a wonderful thing to achieve and to be fulfilled in this particular campaign.
Ellie has been making boxes since 2004 and says that seeing the smiles on children's faces when they get the box makes all the effort in packaging and shipping the boxes off worthwhile.
Just thought, what a fabulous thing to be involved with. And I came along with some boxes in the campaign that first year. And since then I've been hooked. It just gets inside you. I love the idea of children getting a box that haven't had anything. And from the very first box I made, I thought it would be so lovely to see a child's face opening them. So over the years I was fortunate enough to go out with Grimsby boxes and give them out, and saw firsthand what a difference it made.
The shoe boxes will still go to their traditional locations of Eastern Europe, but this year there's an added focus on sending boxes to refugees fleeing the conflicts in Syria, either to Europe or humanitarian camps in Lebanon and northern Iraq.
We are trying to actually reach out to northern Iraq, to Serbia and Macedonia this year. This project is all part of helping the refugees because they are in such desperate need that I think just a small shoebox of gifts. Every time I open a shoebox, those that have brought them in, you can see the love that they've actually given in that box, and I think that touches the children's hearts in a small way that will be make a big difference to them.
You're watching Estuary News. Still to come tonight, we find out your views on parking outside schools should parents have designated spaces. We visit Scunthorpe and the Save Our Steel March that happened earlier in the week. And we visit Paul Home Tower, a ruin in much need of some TLC. And of course, we'll have all the sports news. Since July, over £500,000 worth of works have been carried out at Scunthorpe's 2021 Visual Arts Studio. Among the new facilities in the exhibition centre are a shop, a new meeting and event space and a cafe. Our reporter Dan Kemp went to the opening.
A brand new identity for arts and culture in northern Lincolnshire. That's how North Lincolnshire Council's portfolio holder for culture, John Briggs, sees the redevelopment of the central Scunthorpe venue.
When we look back at the people who have actually exhibited here, with Anthony Gormley, for example, and Nick Sharrett, who are tremendous and nationally known artists that have had their works on display here, and to see now that as we take things forward into the future, a new remodelling with a refresh and a new identity is really brilliant.
The majority of the funding for the project has been supplied by Arts Council England. Denise Farmy is from the organisation and says it's about providing more for punters than just art space.
Visiting a gallery is the whole experience. It's important for any member of the public or the audience that comes along to see the work. The work's got to be fantastic. We want to see amazing exhibitions, but we also want people to feel welcome, to feel safe and to be in a very positive environment, and so having a lovely cafe to visit, come along with the family, that's really important for us to know that our audiences are enjoying themselves and feel good. And along with that, we want them to come along and spend a little bit of money getting their lunch here, perhaps buying some Christmas presents here, and that's also important for the gallery to bring in enough resources to keep showing those fantastic shows.
And it's not just about your traditional art forms, but also about interacting. And Councillor Briggs hopes that the new investment will see Scunthorpe play a bigger role in the art community.
I think the most important thing about this is Scunthorpe and North Lincolnshire is really on the arts map, because this is an arts facility. And to think about the culture that we're offering, it's about way of life that we have. And to be honest with you, it's such an exciting day for everybody that I think it's tremendous.
And what do the developments mean to the people that exhibit there?
The classroom space has always been good here, and the gallery shop has always been a lovely place to visit, but I just think the whole thing has just been lifted. It's just been lifted, and the space is so lovely to be in that hopefully it's going to draw more people here. Yeah.
And Dan's with me now. Dan, looks like a fantastic place. Was it a good event?
Yeah, it was very exciting. Obviously, it was the grand unveiling of the new project. I think it was £590,000 they'd spent on it.
A lot of money.
£590,000 even.
All right.
Yeah, it was really interesting talk by Councillor John Briggs, who's the portfolio holder for culture in Northern Lincolnshire as well. and clearly really passionate about it. And I think they hope that from now on, obviously, Hull's going to be City of Culture. I think they're hoping Scunthorpe can tag on the end of that as well.
You a big arts fan?
No.
But you
Is sport art, Hugh? Is sport art?
No. You
no,
do. You are a big.
Culture.
You are. Well, so's yogurt. You are a big sports fan. What can we expect in the sports?
I've been to see Paul Hurst this week as well, ahead of their game against Welling United tomorrow in the National League. They're looking to keep up their good run. They've signed new player Alex Jones from Birmingham City, who came off the bench on Tuesday night in their win, and he's possibly going to start on Saturday. We'll find out about that because John Paul Pittman and Omar Bogle are both out.
Okay.
They are strikers.
They're strikers.
They score goals.
Okay.
That's the plan anyway. We've got some rugby union fixtures as well, and a bit of news on New Hull FC signing Frank Pritchard as well, which is rugby league.
Thank you, Dan.
No worries.
And thank you for explaining football to me. You must explain the offside rule at some point. When we come back after the break, we'll be visiting Scunthorpe and the Save Our Seal March that happened earlier in this week, and we'll find out your views on parking outside schools, should parents have designated spaces, and we visit Poole Home Tower, a ruin in much need of some work. Steelworkers around the country descended on Scunthorpe this week to march in defence of the British steel industry. On one side are the government and North Lincolnshire Council, who say they're doing enough to help the industry and ease redundancies locally. On the other hand, there are the unions and the steelworkers, who say the government aren't doing enough. We met with both sides as the march took place.
They came in their hundreds and stood together as one. Steelworkers from around the country descended on Scunthorpe yesterday to show solidarity with all steel industry workers made redundant in recent months, including the 900 in Scunthorpe. The marchers, armed with a petition, aim to force the council to cut Tata Steel's business rates, one of the reasons the company has got into difficulty. Council leader Liz Redfern says EU rules make this impossible to change, but unions are saying that a devolving of powers will give the council more power to change rates.
No, there are many asks that we've asked government, and that is one of them. We are being told, because of EU rules, that it is illegal to do that. But nevertheless, we shall keep saying, is there a possibility, or some way around that we can help in that way?
Well, I think it's a statement of fact insofar as that is the current position. But our understanding is George Osborne has indicated that he is going to devolve some of those powers to local authorities. So when that happens, and hopefully it'll happen sooner rather than later, Baroness Redfern, did you say, won't have the ability to hide behind that excuse.
The government has taken a lot of flack for their overall handling of the steel industry crisis, seeing it as being too pragmatic and doing too little too late. Local MPs have been lobbying government to show support, and a local task force was set up to ease the pain of redundancies. Councillor Redfern says the task force will be effective in holding government to account, and that she has the support of the Prime Minister and his government.
Well, we've had 2 meetings now. A lot of work is going on behind the scenes, getting our ask ready to government, what we want government to help and support. So that is vital, that is up and running, and I'm pleased, really pleased how it's going. I did take a call from the Prime Minister on Friday, and he is fully committed to support us in making sure we continue with UK making the steel here in Scunthorpe.
No matter what steps the government and council take to try and ease the pain and secure the future of British steel, the unions maintain their position that it's too little too late, and that there have been warning signs for years. They say more should have been done to stop cheap steel imports and to make infrastructure projects use British steel. Either way, their message to the government and of the steelworkers marching with them is a simple one.
Well, no, they haven't done enough by any stretch of the imagination at this point in time. It's taken the absolute tragedy, unfortunately, of the closure of the steel mill, steel plant in Teesside to wake the government up to the situation that we have a crisis and we have serious challenges within the industry. Now, the government are trying to do what they can, but they should have been doing this 12 months, 2 years ago. We've been campaigning on these issues for years, and it's suddenly taken a tragedy to bring them to their senses to say, yes, we need to recognise the challenges of the steel industry.
And if there's a story you'd like us to look into, then you can always contact the news team either through the Facebook or Twitter pages, or email news@estuary.tv, or call 01472 31553. Let us know what's happening in your area. Paul Home Tower on the banks of the Humber Estuary is a remnant of a time gone by. It's believed to have been a medieval fortified house, and it's now in much need of some tender loving care, but that requires money. We sent James Smart to meet the guardian of the tower, Simon Taylor.
Well, the Paul Home Tower is a wonderful brick structure. It's one of the earliest brick structures in the country. It's about 1400, we're not quite sure, but on the far side there is an emblem, a badge of when the family got married in 1438 it is, so it's about that period. But if you go inside at ground level, there's a brick barrel vaulted ceiling. Really, really unique. If you're in London, you say it was a bit like the tube station. It's like that. And then within the walls, there's a stair, and the stair takes you up to the first landing, and there's a room up there, and then within that wall, there's another stair that takes you up to the next landing, which isn't there anymore, that's gone. And then there's another stair that takes you up to the roof, and the roof is missing. So it was a proper little self-contained castle, or well, whatever they called them in those days, but it was a fortified manor house. Well, we need to save the tower for the future. We don't actually know at this moment what the future is going to be, but we need to save. So after this first stage, we're going to get a roof on it. If we get a roof, then we can use the inside. At the moment, no roof, can't use it. We're going to put the castellations back. If you look up there, you'll see the castellations are missing. We're going to put those back, hopefully, and we're going to repair all the cracks and point the brickwork and things like that. So what we should end up at the end of this phase is a fully repaired ruin with a roof on, and that leaves us ready, a good starting point for the future to bring it back to whatever use we're going to be. It could be a dwelling, it could be accommodation, it could be bed breakfast, it could be a meeting place, it could be absolutely anything. All options are open. Well, yes, you always need money. If you're looking up, there's an ancient monument and it's grade 1 and we need some money spending on it. The thing about the tower, though, is it's small. It's not a big stately home, so we're not talking of millions. We are talking of a lot of money, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not a lot of money. We're hoping to hear some good news very soon, but we will have a shortfall, and we don't know how big that shortfall is, so we don't really know how much to go out and collect and save or borrow until we get that answer. So we're just like stuck in the middle at the moment.
Hull Animal Welfare Trust received an abandoned dog a little while ago, a lurcher called Donny. He was in a terrible state, one of the most emaciated dogs the centre has ever received. Luckily, things are looking up for Donny, but in a region where animal cruelty cases are on the rise, will more animals like him be turning up at the centre? Dave Nunn went to find out.
It's a story that's all too familiar in animal rescue centres across the country. Abandoned dogs being found in a state. But the Hull Animal Welfare Trust was shocked when Donny came in from Cottingham as one of the most emaciated dogs they'd ever received.
Donny's doing fine at the moment. He came in an emaciated state. A gentleman brought him in, said he'd been found in Cottingham. He was brought to us. We're feeding him up 3 times a day, little and often, to build his weight up slowly. He's put on about over 2 kilograms in the week he's been here with us. Lovely dog. Unfortunately, he has got a problem with his eyes, which probably in not too short a time he will lose his eyesight. So that's why we're looking for a home for Donny as soon as we can.
For Paul, seeing dogs, or any animal, arrive at the centre in Donny's condition is a heartbreaking experience, no matter how many times he sees it.
I mean, it's disappointing because something could have been done a bit earlier. You know, it could have been, if it had been here earlier, we could have, treated him earlier. It's just disappointing and upsetting that someone can leave an animal in this condition.
Donny's story comes at a time when animal cruelty cases have been rising nationally. 159,831 cases were investigated in 2014, up from 153,770 the year before, with over 20,000 of them involving deliberate abuse. Locally, Hull in the East Riding has one of the highest rates of animal cruelty in the country, with 49 people convicted of offences last year, with only 6 other regions having higher numbers. For the Hull Animal Welfare Trust, most of the animals they pick up are strays or are abandoned.
Not as often. We do obviously get them in conditions such as Donny, but again, that's what we're here for, to care for them and to build them up and find them good homes. I mean, a lot of ours are strays, so we help the council dog wardens find homes. They've got to keep them for 7 days and then they see if we can take them. So they're mainly strays. Obviously other reasons are hardship cases, relationship splits. So there is various reasons we do get animals into us.
But for Donny there is hope. Last week a family came to have a look at Donny, with the centre hoping that they will take him and give him a good happy home.
And I'm very happy to say that Donny has found a new home, and we hope to bring you more news on that a little later. But for now, here's the sport.
To extend their winning run to 7 in the last 8. Striker Paddy Madden will hope to continue his own personal form against an out-of-form Swindon side that have not won since September and sit 23rd in League One. Grimsby Town host Welling United in the National League. The Mariners are looking to cement their playoff credentials with a win at Blundell Park against the side that sit 18th. And North Ferriby United travel to Curzon Ashton without first-choice goalkeeper Adam Nicklin. Tom Nicholson is again expected to deputise following his clean sheet on Tuesday night. Grimsby Town boss Paul Hurst admits that tomorrow's opposition will offer an attacking threat, despite having scored less than a goal a game so far. And Hurst is aware of the danger posed by Welling.
I think they've had a decent start. They're very good defensively. If you look at the record, not scored, loads of goals. But when I watched them, I felt that they did carry a threat with some very quick attacking players. And I think there's a few lads in their ranks that have caught the eye. Nationally, in the lad Cohn and Vidal. Two lads that didn't play when I watched them, ironically.
Rugby League now, and Newhall FC signing Frank Pritchard's commitment to joining the club, despite late interest from the NRL, underlines his character. That's according to their chairman Adam Pearson, who's been speaking to the Hull Daily Mail. Pritchard agreed to join the Black and Whites on a 2-year deal earlier this year, but reportedly attracted late interest from the New Zealand Warriors for him to stay in his homeland. Rugby Union, Hull Ionians host the Henley Hawks in National League 1 tomorrow, while Hull RUFC host Furwood Waterloo and Scunthorpe travel to Sandbach. And finally, according to Made in Yorkshire, the inaugural Tour de Yorkshire, which took place back in May, made nearly £50 million. One stage started in Bridlington, while another went through Beverley. And that's all for the sport.
That's it for tonight. If you have a news story, then please visit our Facebook or Twitter pages, email news@estuary.tv or phone Grimsby 01472 31553. Until next week, good evening.
Estuary TV weather, sponsored by Rix Petroleum, your local family-owned heating oil supplier this winter.
Hello and welcome to Estuary TV's weather. Saturday will start dry, but cloud will increase with rain towards lunchtime, heavy at times and maximum temperatures of 13 degrees. Sunday will be another wet and windy day.
Rix, servicing the region's oil boilers this winter from a name you can trust. Get in touch at rix.co.uk or call us on 01482 838383.